Hey, it's Bill. We're getting ready for the second block of series in the Premier League, and I'll have my predictions for day 6. Everyone's so excited to get back and see the Premier League, the block 2 of 4 nights, which will ultimately, at the end of day 9, cut 2 players out and relegate them. Let's see how I did on day 5. How did I do? Perfect. I even called the tie between Nathan Aspel and MVG, but I also put some money down on Jose, who had to get that win. So it was a really, really great night for me. So out of the 5 days, I had 2 perfect days, day 3 and day 5, where I predicted absolutely perfect and even called the tie, which is great. And then the other 3 days, I got 2 wins each. So it adds up to 16 victories out of 25, which doesn't sound that great. But when you have 2 perfect days, so hopefully I keep the perfect going. Now, as we get into this new block, a couple of things I just want to point out. The first 2 games on day 6, to me, are who's going to get the final regulation spot. If anyone remembers, I played Glen Durrant and Gary Anderson to be relegated. There's still an opportunity, but when you take a look at the standings, I've never seen it this tight. There's 3 points separating the 9th from the 1st. In reality, Johnny Clayton could get relegated. I don't think it's going to happen, but there's still the potential of that happening. I think 7 points is going to be the actual number. That's going to be the person who gets relegated, and then it becomes a bit of how many legs lost. So if Johnny has a horrible week, right now he's at +7 for his legs, but if he has a horrible week, he could still be on 7 points and be relegated. That is crazy. That the person in first, I don't recall going into a week 6 and still having the top person or anyone in the top 4 really have a real battle for relegation. And I think that just speaks to the fact that Glenn has got 0 points. So everyone's getting their points off Glenn. There's 3 players that haven't played Glenn, 4 players that haven't played Glenn. You basically can book them for 2 points. I read all about Glen Durrant and how he's thinking about this, and people predicting him to come back. I'm sorry. When your darts are coming in like that, and you've got a week, 10 days to try to fix it, in all honesty, Glen Durrant's had about 6 months trying to fix this. So you're telling me these 10 days in between that block and that block, he's going to get it? I don't think so. Let's take a look at the opponents he's playing. He's playing MVG, Jose De Souza, Peter Wright. Good luck with those 3. And then you've got Rob Cross. Maybe he gets a point off Rob Cross. Maybe he gets a point off Rob Cross. But I don't see him getting a point unless Peter Wright does what he did day 5 and throw a freaking javelin at the board that zing, 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 like that. But even still, then he beat Rob Cross. So I think first one, Michael Van Gerwen's going to destroy him just because of what he's done in the past. I guarantee MVG shows up for this one and tries to kill him 7-0. Maybe that's a lot of pressure on him, but I don't see him getting that victory. Jose's just too big of a scorer. Durrant can't score right now. And Jose can miscount 3 or 4 times. It won't matter. Durrant's not going to be down. And then you got Peter Wright again. If he throws a torpedo, you got a chance. But if he throws a regular dart straight, he's going to average 100. I don't see Durrant hanging with that. And then Rob Cross maybe at the end. There might be a lot of pressure on Rob Cross if he's part of the relegation. Last year it was against Durrant that he lost to get relegated. I don't see it happening though. So again, it's going to be interesting, but I really think the first 2 matches are going to determine what the week is, to be honest with you. The first matchup is Rob Cross against Gary Anderson. Again, prediction-wise, I'm looking at that to be a very, very close game. I wouldn't suspect that. I know that Gary's got a nice handle on Rob in regular games, but you don't know. This one is, I really even struggled with the tie, but considering that I had Gary Anderson to get relegated, I'm going to keep with that and see if Gary Anderson will be relegated. I believe he will get relegated if he loses this match. If he loses this match, he still has a really tough schedule to go, which includes MVG, Clayton, and Dimitri Vandenberg. That ain't easy. So even a tie here, I believe Gary's still in trouble. But I suspect Rob will want to get this win, and that'll put him over the line, which really, if he wins this, should you know, I think he's going to be still tight to get at least another point, but he does get also Durant later on in the week. So you pretty much give him 2 points there, maybe. Anyways, I think my final prediction is going to be Rob Cross 7-5, although I wouldn't be surprised if this is a tie. Next matchup, Jose De Sousa, James Wade. James Wade is another person who I believe is in trouble in terms of regulation or relegation. Yeah, Jose's in the relegation spot right now. I just think he's a better player, and he also gets Glen Durant, so you pretty much put 2 points on the board. So even though he's at 4, I put him at 6, and James has already played Glen Durant. Now, if James is able to win this match, boy, that puts a lot of pressure on De Sousa, but I just don't see that happening. And again, I'm going to put some money on this like I did last time with Jose. I just think Jose is the better player, the better scorer. Don't miscount Jose, because James will take you out if you do. That's classic James Wade, to really punish you when you've done something like that. So I see Jose winning this one 7-3. Next matchup, Johnny Clayton against Dimitri Vandenberg. One of the things that I just want to put at the stats, I was talking about having the low score stats. So when you take a look at the low score stats, Dimitri Vandenberg is the least amount in his first 9 darts to hit a 60 or less. He's been fantastic at 15%. Johnny Clayton's the next best at 17%. And the worst, obviously, is Durant, and Cross is pretty close to being up there, 1 every 4. So I just think this will be a good scoring match. It just comes down to the doubles. And really right now, Johnny Clayton has been the doubles hitter, and Dimitri Vandenberg struggled on the doubles. So I see Johnny Clayton win this one 7-4. Next matchup, I think it'll be just a destroy job. Michael Van Gerwen against Durant. I just hope that Michael Van Gerwen's got a half piece of decency and not scream and yell. And I know he didn't because of some Prince Philip dying. How does yelling at a darts match be something about someone, Prince Philip, dying? What's the correlation there? Please keep it down in respect for the prince. I don't think Prince Philip really cares if someone screams on a dartboard, to be honest with you, or screams 180. Maybe I'm not British and I don't get that shit, but explain to me the correlation there. Please be, because Prince Philip died. I didn't know Prince Philip was going to be watching darts. Fair enough. I understand that it's a little bit pomp and circumstance over on the other side of the island or the other side of the ocean. I don't get it. Anyways, but I really would hope that Michael Van Gerwen doesn't roar here. He's playing a guy who's struggling. This guy would probably, Durant right now would have a tough time beating anyone on the Challenge Tour. So I'm hoping that Van Gerwen doesn't do this screaming and rahs and actually has respect for his opponent. Don't worry about Prince Philip, but have respect for your opponent. I see him winning this one really handily, 7-1, and I think he's going to go out there and, you know, Durant's beat him before, so he's going to try to say enough of this stuff. And if there's anyone that would like to beat Glen Durant 7-0, it's Van Gerwen. But I think he'll do a number on him 7-1, and then I think you've got the best match of the night. So again, I predict the best match. I've been really, really good at that. See myself. I got this one locked in. Peter Wright, Nathan Aspinall. I think it's going to be a barn burner, and it's going to be a doozy. I think Wright and Aspinall. First of all, Aspinall usually has Wright's number. Both, you know, if you take a look at their points, both on 6. This is a big, big match. Whoever wins this one's pretty much guaranteed not to be relegated. Aspinall has already played Durant. Wright hasn't, so you can pretty much put Wright on 8 already, so I don't think he's in trouble in terms of relegation. But a loss here would be a stifler for sure. And the way that Aspinall's been battling, he ain't leaving. 9 darters thrown against him, still gets a tie. You know, plays Michael Van Gerwen, still gets a tie. So, since Nathan Aspinall has been the tie, I'm going to predict the tie here and go with Wright, Aspinall 6-6 in the match of the night, which is your last match. So again, Rob Cross to beat Gary Anderson 7-5, Jose De Sousa to beat James Wade 7-3, Johnny Clayton to beat Dimitri Vandenberg 7-4, MVG to beat Glen Durant 7-1, and Peter Wright and Nathan Aspinall to be a tie. Hope everyone enjoys the darts. Let's see how I do. Maybe another 5 for 5. Perfect day. We'll see.